Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the biggest stars and some of my favourite people too. And we've got one for you today. John Lee is not only the star of S Club 7, but he's also forged an incredible career in the West End. He's in a brand new show called Forever Plaid, based on the off-Broadway show from 1990. We're going to hear all about it. Songs from the 50s, which of course will celebrate your voice beautifully, won't it, John? How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Alex. How are you?
Yeah, I'm delicious. Not as good as you. I've done a lot of research for this interview, and I put in your name. You're looking quite hot right now, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much.
What's it like being attractive? Because I'm ginger and deeply unattractive.
I doubt that. Is that why you're on the radio?
Exactly. You see, you can be looked at, I'll be listened to. My voice, I mean, I'm a 10 out of 10 in terms of voice, but the...
You have a stunning voice.
But the man boobs sagging, I mean, you'd vomit, really, John. It's disgusting.
I don't know, I've got very low standards. I'm sure I wouldn't vomit.
Oh, bless. Tell me about your life and your day. You get up in the morning, and to look like you do, what do I have to do?
Well, I'm a vegetarian. I eat very, very well. I look after myself. I go to the gym. I do a lot of yoga, do a lot of meditation, and my job keeps me very fit as well, being part of a theatre company.
It's interesting, you say vegetarian. You know what vegetarian is in Latin, don't you?
No, go on, tell me.
It stands for lousy hunter. Are you doing all these quinoa beans and all this arty-farty stuff then?
No. I don't eat anything sort of like too weird or exotic. I just don't eat meat really. I still eat fish on occasion, but I just don't eat meat.
Don't you miss it?
Yeah, not really, to be honest. I mean, I think I've just got to a point where I was sort of watching all these. Well, that's the trouble. I was watching all these videos on YouTube and all these, eco-friendly videos that they have up on Netflix and stuff, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Like the treatment of animals and what they actually put in our food is quite disturbing. And then we wonder why we're ill all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And then we look at you physically and the six-pack and all that stuff. Does that happen by accident, or are you in the gym 20 hours a day?
It was a complete accident, yeah. I do look after myself. I have to be fit for my job. Doing 8 shows a week of any show is demanding. I don't want to take time off when I do a show.
I last saw you in Jersey Boys, and it's amazing when we hear your voice. I mean, when you hear somebody's come from a pop group, you're always cynical and you always worry. And then, of course, you get a gig like the lead in Jersey Boys, and you realise there's no faking it. That's got to be one of the hardest things in the West End, isn't it?
It absolutely is. I mean, that's what they do, actually split the role. It was split between myself and Ryan Malloy. And because I think it's physically impossible to sustain that for doing that 8 times a week. I think you'd actually do yourself an injury. Also, I think another one is Jean Valjean, obviously. That's a huge thing. But, if you're trained correctly and you look after yourself, then it shouldn't be an issue.
When you get a gig like that, is that the affirmation that you've actually made it? Because you can't fake it. I know Frankie personally comes to see you and endorses everybody, and if he doesn't like you, got rid of quickly. There's no fake in that role, is there?
There isn't, and there's lots of shows that have kind of come and gone where they get a celebrity. I hate that word, but they get a celebrity to come in to get bums on seats. But this really isn't one of those shows because. People are going to come and watch it regardless of who's playing Frankie, because Frankie is a bigger star than anyone they could probably get in anyway. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And the songs speak for themselves, and the show speaks for itself as well. Being cast in something like that was purely on my own merit. You know what I mean?
And what I love about it too, it's not that nice, Jersey Boys. People think it's some jukebox musical, but there's a real hard meaning to it. And there's 2 things I love. One, the fact that everything's done on a handshake, which is impossible in 2016 because you can't trust anybody. And 2, it's a real story of, seriously dodgy characters getting involved in the good, the bad and the ugly and surviving in show business. It's amazing.
It really is. It's a fantastic. I mean, I knew all the songs obviously growing up, but I didn't know anything about their story and their rise to fame, and it was so interesting getting to hear about it firsthand. And they flew us over my cast that was in. They flew us to New York, and we met some of the original creative people. And actually went to some of the places where Frankie and the boys used to hang out when they first started. So wow. We got a real sort of in-depth look of what their life was really like.
I got lucky in Las Vegas. I got to interview Frankie and Bob, and Frankie came about as big as my left leg. He is really small, isn't he?
He is a diddy chap. I mean, I'm quite small, and I'm 5'8". But he's 5'5", I think. So even I was towering over him, which was quite nice for a change.
Well, congratulations on that role. I thought you were truly superb, and your voice is just beautiful. And that, of course, leads us on to what you're doing now, which is this new show, Forever Plaid, which is on at the St. James Theatre Studio. And I was there just the other week. It's an amazing venue, this. It's a little off the beaten path of the West End, but my God, what a facility that is.
It really is. They've done a fantastic job on it. I mean, I've never been here, but yesterday was my first day here, and I absolutely love it. It's got such character and such charm about it. It's really lovely, and it's a great space. And we open tonight. It's our very first preview tonight, so I'm really looking forward to getting down there and we get to do our dress run later, hopefully.
How do you cope with the stress of sounding like you and being as good as you can possibly be?
You just have to kind of invest in the music. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have sung some absolutely beautifully written songs, lyrically and melodically as well. So they kind of do half the work for you, as long as you just trust in the music itself. And obviously, the boys that I'm working with at the moment, it's a very tight harmony group. Forever Plaid. That's the story. So I've got 3 other guys on stage with me who are all fantastic singers as well. And you just have to support each other. It's not about standing there and just, belting your lungs out. It's about actually believing in what you're saying and telling a story through the song.
And there's no point trying to do these harmonies unless you're a brilliant singer. How tricky are they? Because those 50 songs were beautifully written and have to be delivered perfectly.
They do, and it's actually been a real big learning curve for all of us. So no doubt saying, because they don't write melodies and harmonies like they used to, and these harmonies are so close that they are borderline clashing. Do you know what I mean? But so if you are even marginally out, it's absolutely horrific.
Yeah, you didn't hear the Olivier Awards, did you, on Sunday night? There was a car crash right at the end. I don't know what happened to the sound, but my God, there were some of the most talented people in the West End, all sounding dreadful.
I know. Do you know what? Sometimes when you have sort of live music being broadcast on TV, it probably sounded great in the room,
I'm sure,
great in the venue, wherever they were, and as soon as it gets broadcast over TV live, the sound just changes really dramatically. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Let's just finally talk about you and your life at this point, because I'm so amazed and impressed by people like you who keep working, because when you're a young star who has mega fame and then go away, to reinvent yourself constantly is difficult. I mean, are you proud of yourself at this point that you're still at it? Because that's tough.
I am, yeah. I mean, it wasn't until the other day I was actually talking to my mum about it, to be honest, and it worked out that I've been doing this now professionally for 22 years, and that's no easy thing to do in this day and age. So yeah, I am very proud. Obviously, I've been very, very lucky, been in the right place at the right time, gone for the right jobs at the right time. But yeah, to kind of sustain a career for 3 decades is not bad going in my book. I'm very happy.
And again, to be credible and given work like this must be the greatest thrill, that you're not the guy from a reality show or a pop star. You're actually an artist in your own right. That's how you ultimately want to be defined.
Yeah, I mean, I never went through sort of the whole reality kind of TV shows. I mean, that was not that I've got anything against it. It's just a path that I chose not to take. And again, if I hadn't been successful in my own right, then maybe I would have done. Because, sometimes that's the only way you can get on nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah. And as for you walking down the street, are you constantly recognised, and are people very nice? What are people like towards you?
People are always really lovely, actually. I mean, I don't really get recognised that much anymore. I walk very, very quickly. I walk very swiftly.
That's the trick, is it? Keep moving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just dart around like a little Dachshund. People I've never had anything but nice things, so I can't complain about that either.
And finally, going back to the six-pack and the pecs, I'm just looking. I'm actually down to a C cup at the moment, so I'm doing pretty well. What do I have to do to get rid of these, well, let's call them moobs?
Well, I would opt for surgery. If they're that bad, I would just go full full body surgery.
How
Yeah.
about just an entire sort of face transplant, something like
Or
that?
just get a body double for life. That's also an option.
Just
Yeah,
end it all. How about that? Just, give up.
Slightly harsh. That's slightly
Do you
harsh.
think-
But yeah, maybe just grab you by the shoulders, cut off the slack or something like that. I don't know.
I am obsessed with people who are attractive being ugly because I'm fascinated to know what your life is like. I mean, is it joyous day in and day out looking like you, being totally delicious and having people come on to you 24/7?
That doesn't happen to me, does it? I'm just normal. I'm just a normal person. I don't have people coming up to me constantly throwing themselves at me or laying down their jackets over puddles for me. Again, we don't live in that era anymore. But yeah, I mean, I just normal. It's my life, so it's normal to me.
Is there a pressure now? I was reading an article the other day about lads today and how they're sort of spending longer in the gym, longer in the changing rooms, longer doing their hair and longer working on their arms. Do you think there is a pressure to look fit now, more so than there was probably 20 years ago?
Yeah, I think we just probably talk about it more than because of things like social media, Instagram, and people posting selfies constantly. Yeah, I guess we just notice it more. Maybe that's what it is.
I noticed you taking a couple of bed pics as I put your name into Google. I've never thought of doing that. Strangely, as I lay there looking like I'm modelling for scatter cushions, taking a picture of myself and putting it on the internet has never been a consideration.
Did I take a picture of me in bed?
Yes, I think you were sort of gurning. Well, not gurning. That's terrible. Yes, you were. Yeah, you were sort of looking and pouting, and then you got your sort of pecs sticking out and the old tattoo, I think. Yeah, very interesting.
If it's a picture of me with my top off or anything like that, I was probably completely off my face drunk.
It's always the best way to be. Listen, great talking to you. I'm such a big fan. You're a true talent who deserves huge success and a very long career, and I'm sure you're going to have one. Let's talk about this show then. It's called Forever Plaid. It's on at the St. James Theatre, and it's basically a celebration of these wonderful songs of harmony from the 50s, Love Is a Many Splendid Thing and Catch a Falling Star, all these beautiful songs. And you can hear them from the 5th to the 24th of April. Just go to the website of the St. James Theatre. John, great to talk to you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you.